I'm spooning coffee into my mouth.
I don't know about you, but I get these, like, you know, the coffee shits.
I already had my poop in this morning. I had a good poop this morning.
We might have to do a pause in between. Hey everyone, it's Kim.
It's Lucy.
Welcome to our channel, or welcome back to our channel. We are Lucy and Kim from the Lucid in Translation podcast, and we have finally been reunited to film another video together. So this time we thought it would be really cool to do a 2020 recap of all of our favorite items. So music, books, podcasts, products, and all of that. So my album of the year is Chilambo by Jhené Aiko. So this is one of the albums that I listen to without any skips at all. So like, typically I'm not the type of person who listens to albums all the way through, but I became obsessed with this album. And I think you'll really like it too, because there's like a storyline with it.
Yeah.
You know, how it starts with her ending her relationship, she's really triggered by him, and then it goes into like her being more thankful, like praying for him, all that, and then it ends with like a celebration of herself. Like, it's a really, really beautiful, like introspective type of album.
I wrote down 2 artists. So this is supposed to be like your 2020 favorites, but honestly they're probably like my all-time favorites, but I mentioned them anyways. The first one is Lauv. I think it was Paris in the Rain. I mean, I knew his song. I Like Me Better first, so I like kind of knew him, but then when I heard Paris in the Rain, I was like obsessed. So Paris in the Rain is like probably gonna be one of my all-time favorite songs too. And then his other song, Adrenaline. So those 2 are my favorites. I've definitely overplayed those 2 songs a lot this year.
All right, so my second album pick is Sawayama by Rina Sawayama. She's a Japanese-British artist, and her recent album has a lot of mixed influence with pop, metal, and rock. So sonically, it's the most interesting album I've heard this year. And I was supposed to see her in concert this year too.
Oh no!
Yeah, I was supposed to see Lauv too.
But you told
due
me.
to the pandemic and everything, obviously couldn't. But yeah, so my top picks out of that album is STFU. The music video is like really funny because it's her on a date with this white dude, and it's basically like shut the fuck up. Like, the dude who's like, oh, this isn't real sushi, you know? So it's really funny.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, and then I also like her song Bad Friend off that album.
Gotcha. So my other artist that I put down is Keshi. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Keshi.
He got really, really famous, I think, the beginning of this year. But his song Right Here and Like I Need You. He has other songs. Actually, the more recent one that I've been obsessed with is BYS. I think in the future I want to have like album art on my walls. I will for sure have Lauv and Keshi albums on my wall.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah. So I have another album. It's Everything by Coda the Friend. He's a Brooklyn rapper, but his rap is like very chill. It's very introspective lyrics. So Everything was more of like a summer album for me. Like you'll listen to it and it's like, oh, this feels like I'm on a beach. I feel the breeze, sipping a lemonade. So my top picks from that album is Everything and Away Park.
I did listen to a decent amount of K-pop this year. I listened to a lot of NCT. I know they have a bunch of subgroups, so I don't know which subgroups sang what. There's one that recently came out called 90s Love. Very like old school vibes. I think that's in the lyrics too. Old school vibes. I need to send you that. That song was really good. Boa actually came out with another song this year called Better.
Oh, speaking of Boa, I heard, you know Gallant?
Yeah?
Yeah, so he covered her song Only One, an English version. Yeah, I'll send it to you. That came out this year also. Yeah. So those were our music picks. What category do you want to go into now?
Books. Just because that's on the top of my list.
Right.
Okay, so I don't know how, I wrote 3 books down.
I wrote, you know what I'm gonna say, I wrote like one thing. Okay, so I literally only have one pick. I really did try. I started so many books, lots of self-help books, but this year I think I wanted to kind of escape from all of that like self-help, not nonsense, but sometimes like when you're like so into that, a lot of things kind of get repetitive, and I kind of just want to escape into like a fantasy book. Six of Crows, The Duology by Leigh Bardugo. Basically it follows this criminal prodigy who is being offered a ton of money to rescue this scientist from a maximum security prison. And in order to do that task, he hires like 5 other teens who have special skills, and it's a heist novel basically. And so they try to rescue this guy, and it's written in different perspectives, so each chapter is by another character. And so it's really exciting. It like keeps me on my toes, and like the writing's beautiful. Like I recommend it to you, and I don't know if you got into it just yet.
So I did buy the book, and I tried it. So my problem was, it was hard for me to get into like fiction adventurous books just because I couldn't get myself to get out of that mindset and focus in on like a completely different world. And that was a me thing, that's not the book's problem.
Yeah, so the duology is actually written after her trilogy. So a lot of terms and names might be a lot at first, but like once you get in through the first few chapters, you're good to go. You don't have to read the trilogy beforehand.
Yeah, so I'm the opposite. I've been obsessed with self-help books this year. And for a while, I was like also getting tired and I thought it was getting repetitive, but then I found this new book that's on my list that I'll talk about that got me out of that. And I think it's like brought me to this like different world now of self-help improvement stuff. I'm gonna sit on my butt now because my legs are getting tired. Okay, my real height.
Exposed.
The first book on my list I read the beginning of this year. It's called Timekeeper by Mitch Albom. So Mitch Albom, if I pronounce his last name right, he actually wrote a lot of books out there, and I've read several of his, but Timekeeper was the one that like stood out to me when I was coming up with this list. And I think if you asked me like what my favorite book this year was, like another month, I might have said something different. This is a fiction book, and I like it because it teaches you a life lesson. So it was kind of a fictional book that was like self-help as well. So that's why
like the Alchemist vibes, where it's like fiction, but
So basically this book talks about the first man that's able to count time, and so he like invents the first clock. But God punishes him for being able to like control this gift that like God gifted to the humans, like that sort of thing. So he actually gets banished into a cave. So while he's in that cave, he like hears all these voices from other human beings that are desperate for more time. Right, so he's in this cave like stuck alone for like the longest time ever, and then finally one day he gets the chance to redeem himself. To redeem himself, he has to help two people in real life to make them appreciate time more. So one of them is like this little girl who actually wants to stop time, and the second one is an old wealthy man that wants more time. It's a really beautiful story. I definitely teared up a little bit. So the second book I did mention in our recent podcast, I believe, and it was the book that like got me out of the whole like repetitiveness of everything. It's called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday, and I actually finished the book just like 2 days ago.
Oh, that's the excerpt you sent me.
Yeah, I sent you an excerpt.
By like, it was Winston Churchill.
Oh yeah, I sent you.
Are you reading autobiography about Winston Churchill? Like what?
Actually, like I'd be interested. I think one day when I get tired of all of this, I'll read like get into autobiographies and stuff. Ryan Holiday, the author, he's written a lot of other books. He's huge into Stoicism. So instead of summarize, I kind of took like a short summary off of Google, but all great leaders, thinkers, artists, athletes, and visionaries share one indelible quality. It enables them to conquer their tempers, to avoid distraction and discover great insights, to achieve happiness and do the right thing. Ryan Holiday calls it stillness, to be steady while the world spins around you. So I love this book because he incorporates so many people from our past lives. Like, so I sent you that Winston Churchill, and he just uses those like as examples with like the life advice he tries to give. And it's just like a lot of the chapters, like they're life advice that I already apply in my life. But having these examples and the way he words things, it just emphasizes the importance of it, and I think it just makes me feel better that, you know, oh, I'm gonna continue what I'm doing. The third book was Becoming by Michelle Obama. It's just like,
it?
Yeah, I finished. Yeah,
I still haven't finished it.
This was actually, so I got a Kindle last December, and I think this was the first book that I actually got on the Kindle. Yeah, she's just a very influential, strong woman that I want to become.
Yeah, I'm halfway through that book too. It's really good.
Yeah. I know that like I'll never be influential like her on a big scale, but it kind of like, I wouldn't mind being like that on a smaller scale. Yeah.
Great. So that wraps up our book section. Now we're going to talk about quotes. I don't know how many quotes you have. I only have one.
I have 3.
I don't think I can. So this one quote is from a Polish poet, Wisława Szymborska. It's from an article that she wrote in like 1996 or something called I Don't Know. And the quote basically just says, whatever inspiration is, it's born from a continuous I don't know. I used to connect knowledge with power, and saying that you don't know something is sort of showing weakness, right?
Gotcha.
But I think I kind of shifted my mindset this year where if I don't know something, I took that as an opportunity of like, in curiosity, like, okay, I can learn this, I can get into this. And so I think this year I really allowed myself to flourish in so many different parts of myself that I didn't think I could do because I thought, oh, I don't know how to do this, so obviously I'm not going to succeed. But yeah, I've done like so many things this year with that mentality, and I thought this quote like really sums it up, because if people are thinking about like how do I get inspired, start with thinking about like what you don't know and like where your curiosity leads.
I like that.
Yeah, so I really like that quote. Yeah.
The first quote I wrote down was in the book I talked about, Timekeeper by Mitchell. So this is kind of a long quote, but try to imagine a life without timekeeping. You probably can't. You know the month, the year, the day of the week. There's a clock on your wall or the dashboard of your car. You have a schedule, a calendar, a time for dinner or a movie. Yet all around you, timekeeping is ignored. Birds are not late. A dog does not check its watch. Deer do not fret over passing birthday. Man alone measures time. Man alone chimes the hour. And because of this, man alone suffers a paralyzing fear that no other creature endures. A fear of time running out. I have trouble, I guess, understanding like the importance of my time, because I told you like I want to go back into a more structured routine. I don't think to myself like, oh, I'm 24, like why haven't I done this yet? Like on a smaller scale, I like to keep track of time, but on like a bigger scale I don't, because I've met too many people that are just like, oh, I'm at this age, I wish I could have done this, and like they start regretting all those things.
It's like you still can do that.
You still can do that, and it's just like goes back to the whole age is just a number thing. And sometimes I wish I can just like shake them and be like, you're still young. The second one is from a book called When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. Human knowledge is never contained in one person. It grows from the relationships we create between each other and the world, and still it is never complete. Pretty much I like this quote just because it shows the importance of creating relationships with others. And I think during COVID, like it really showed how important it is to make connections with other people, because you learn so much from creating these connections. This dude that I had this brief interaction with on Hinge recommended Ryan Holiday, one of his books. And I've never heard about Stoicism before, never heard about that book, but I looked into it and now I'm obsessed. And it was just like the most brief interaction we ever had. And like a couple weeks after, I actually like went back to message and we like stopped talking at this point. I was like, hey, this is like really weird, but I just wanted to reach out to let you know that I did read the book that you recommended, and even though our interaction was brief, I thought you appreciate someone just letting you know that like this interaction like could have changed their lives. And then the last quote is from Becoming by Michelle Obama. For me, becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously towards a better self. It's gonna be a forever journey to become the person that you want to be, because it's like always changing.
I realized this year that there's no end goal, that you're constantly becoming something, which I think is really beautiful. So starting out with shows, I feel like you're gonna talk about Queen's Gambit too.
Yeah, I know. I do. Okay, you can talk about it.
No, I have some other shows that I want to talk about. I'll let you talk about Queen's Gambit because you want a freaking chest tattoo. I got into like a lot of comedies this year. 10:15 on Hulu. It sets place in the early 2000s. These two actresses or comedians, they play themselves, but they're younger versions of themselves in middle school. It just goes through like all the awkward instances, you know, growing up in middle school. And it's funny because like you have these adults like acting as they were when they were younger, and all the other stars in it, they're like actual middle schoolers. It's awkward, but it's funny.
Okay, I guess I'll just talk about Queen's Gambit now. Yeah. One of the most popular shows on Netflix right now. It's about this orphan girl going through her life, trying to become this like chess prodigy in this like field of mostly men. And it talks about like her going through like problems, like emotional problems, drug problems, alcohol dependence, like that sort of thing. I really like it because I love chess. So it was nice seeing like this badass female playing chess and beating everyone.
So the next show that I really got into this year that I was recommended to watch by my friend Flora, it's RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, have you ever watched America's Next Top Model or one of those competition shows? So it's like that, but times 100.
Ooh.
So obviously it's like drag queens competing to be like the ultimate superstar drag
Is it on
queen.
Netflix?
You can watch some seasons on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not on Netflix. This made me realize how much it takes to be a drag queen. I never thought of it as a performance art,
Yeah.
but you realize like they have to create their own designs. They have to be entertaining. They have to be funny. They have to know how to dance and just like do makeup. So there's so many components that go into it, and I discovered like, wow, this is actually an art. So it's like really cool. And like all the personalities too, like drag queens are just so eccentric.
Yeah.
So it's a very entertaining show. I highly recommend.
Ooh, I might
so
try
those
it.
are one of the shows, that's one of the shows that like really lifted my mood this year.
Yeah, oh, I like it.
Yeah.
My second show that I wrote down is a Korean show called Kingdom. Have you ever?
I haven't heard of it.
So it's based on Korea's Joseon period. Like, wait,
Okay.
I think I pronounced that right.
So it's like a historic piece?
Like a historic piece.
Okay.
But like this plague hits everyone, and everyone turns into like these bloodthirsty zombies. So yeah, it just talks about that. And I think before then I used to watch like Korean dramas like all the time before. But then I saw that on Netflix and I saw the trailer. I was like, this seems really intense. I think I binged it all in one day or 2 days. I don't know. So good. It was so intense.
The show I have is called Elite. So it's another type of murder mystery high school show. And you know how it can be cheesy, like especially like Riverdale's like so cheesy. It sets place in Spain. 3 working class kids, teenagers, they start school at a private school and then obviously someone dies. The writing is so much better than any American teenage show these days. Like I feel like there aren't really good teenage shows, and I don't even know why as a 24-year-old I'm watching teenage shows, but I'm saying this is like next level.
Yeah, next level teenage show.
Yeah, it's just so much better.
So my last show that I wrote down is another word for kingdom. The Last Kingdom. It's a British show on Netflix. That deals with like Vikings and Anglo-Saxons, and I've never been into Viking show. I mean, I've never tried it. My friend was like showing me like a Viking clip from another Viking show that wasn't on Netflix, and I wanted to watch something similar, and I found The Last Kingdom, and there's 5 seasons, and I think I watched it all in a week. Like, and usually I'm not
5
like
seasons.
It's really hard for me to get into shows this year. So when I'm hooked onto something, like, you know, it's, or at least I know it's really good. But dude, the main dude that plays the main characters, his name is like Alexander Draymond. Alexander Draymond.
Look him up.
But anyways, he plays his character's name is Uhtred from Papa Burke.
Uhtred?
Yes, his name's Uhtred.
What'd you say, Alexander
Draymond?
Dre.
D-R-E. Yeah, that's the first one. Oh wait, no. That's his hair in the show. Let me show you.
Okay. Yes, very Viking-esque. Those cheekbones. Okay, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
All right, there we go. And then what he looked like before. There we go.
His IMDb picture is probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, what I'm looking at is like, it's like stuff like this.
I'm guessing you've seen a lot of these pictures before, huh?
He did an amazing job. That's whatever his character.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's go into movies. I only have one suggestion.
Oh shoot, I didn't write movies.
You can think real quick. One that stood out to me, and this is a comedy, it's What We Do in the Shadows, directed by Taika Waititi. I love that man. It's a mockumentary about vampires.
Okay.
And just like how they live their day to day.
Oh,
it's
like
so funny.
Yeah.
It has a Hulu like TV series. I haven't watched that yet. I don't know how good it is, but you can watch on Hulu. Highly recommend this movie. Like if you're into vampires, if you're into like mockumentaries, if you're into Taika Waititi, watch it. So
the next category is favorite products, and we kind of mesh that in with whatever. It could be makeup, technology.
Yeah, technology.
I don't know if you might not have. I talked about my Kindle.
I have it right here. This is one of mine too. I decked it out.
I don't have any of my products, so it'll be like an insert here if you have. Well, she has a Kindle, but yeah, I also have like the most basic one.
I don't know which one this is. Oh. We don't have to see that. That's not what I'm reading.
I used to be the type of person that loved holding physical books. But then I got a Kindle. It was like a game changer, because like, you know, it's like you're laying on your side and it's just like you're holding up a book, your arm starts hurting, your back starts hurting. I don't get that from the Kindle. Yeah, it is so light and so small, and like I can literally just hold it on one hand and just like tap to like go to the next page.
Yeah, I used to be like a book elitist too. It's like, oh, I have to smell and feel the pages. But once you get a Kindle, you can literally lay in any position and just with a tap, it changes the page. You can highlight your favorite quotes and it saves it into a separate category that you can always return back to, which I love rereading my quotes after finishing the book.
I actually got one of my friends to get a Kindle because he was like, oh, my parents really want me to get me something. I was like, I might as well get a Kindle because Lucy said it was really good. I was like, never gonna regret it. Trying to get my other friend to buy a Kindle too.
Yeah, like I don't have the most expensive one either, but the battery life on this thing lasts you for weeks. And it's so small that you can put it into like your bag even. Like I sometimes carry this in my purse.
Yeah. That's my first favorite product of this year.
Yeah, so that was mine too. I guess my second favorite product is a drawing tablet. It's pretty big, so I didn't bring it down.
Okay, I guess, yeah, I never saw it.
But yeah, it's an investment that I made this year that I wanted for the longest time. It was like nearly $300. But I do use it often, and I wanted to get into graphic design and like animation, so it's one of my prized possessions of this year.
For example, check out our Instagram, Lucid in Translation,
for her,
for her drawing examples. So my second one, we also talked about in our last episode, podcast, my Pilot G2.310.
Okay, you're bad.
I actually have it in my background, but I don't feel like bringing it. Yeah, so the Pilot G2.38 ink pen, black pen. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I use it to journal every single time. Like I need that pen to journal. I can't use any other pen. But it's just like, you said you like your pens juicy. I like mine thinner.
To me, it feels a bit more gravelly because it's so fine.
Okay.
So that's why I prefer like juicier, because I feel like it just kind of like calligraphy slides on the page better.
Oh, okay.
So my preference is like a 0.5 and yours is like a 0.38.
Yeah. I wonder if there's, actually I wouldn't go any thinner than 0.38.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is. Whatever.
The final product I have is a skincare product. It's called the Great Barrier Relief by Crave. So it's kind of like
by Leah Yu.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a skin healing, resurfacing type of serum.
Yeah.
So the entire idea behind it is if you over exfoliate, if your skin is super sensitive, you slap it on and it kind of heals your skin. So this year, I'll put up like a picture. I had a really bad allergic reaction to benzoyl peroxide. It kind of like inflamed my face. It was like oozing and itchy, and then I applied it for like 3 days straight, and then it greatly diminished it. Yeah, because when I had a benzoyl peroxide allergic reaction when I was much younger, it took like 2 weeks to heal. But this is like so soothing, and I'm on an acne treatment too, which makes my skin like naturally more sensitive. So I applied it every single day, and it feels so good.
Nice.
Yeah, it has like rosehip oil, niacinamide, so a lot of great ingredients. And I've already purchased my second bottle, so it's really exciting.
Leah Yu was also a YouTuber that I loved watching back in the day. She talked a lot about skincare. I don't know if she did any on makeup. If she did, I didn't really watch any of that. But now she came out with her own company, CEO Entrepreneur. I love that.
I've also tried her cleanser, the matcha hemp hydrating cleanser, which is also really good. And then I also got her sunscreen, also amazing. So I love her line of products.
Yeah, I haven't tried any, but I barely wore makeup this year, and even like at work I used to do like my like eyeliner and stuff, but now like we're required to wear masks. Don't feel the need to, but I will never leave the house without doing my eyebrows, and the NYX eyebrow pencil has been my to-go for like the last couple years. Thanks. I've been using that one for like the past couple years, and I've tried other ones, but I am loyal to this one. Like it always does the job, it never fails me. So that is my
holy grail.
My holy grail product. My all-time favorite game of this year is Ghost of Tsushima. They won the Player's Choice Award, and that just like means so much, because it's not just like an award that like the higher ups picked. It's just like the players picked it. You're basically a samurai in the game, and you're just battling like Mongols and stuff. And a couple months after they released the game, they released a co-op version where you can defeat Mongol zombies with like your friends and stuff. It's so much fun.
Is this why you like dream about like fighting zombies?
Honestly, yes. I swear to God, just like if I played a lot of video games that week, I had more dreams, more adventurous dreams. Because I think, oh yeah, I texted you. There was this one night. It started off like as a bad dream, but then at the end I was trying to defeat this like huge monster with 2 of my friends, and I found a shotgun. But then I didn't get to defeat the monster because my alarm woke me up. But yeah, found a shotgun.
So my game of the year is Stardew Valley. So this isn't a new game. I don't know if you probably heard of it, but it's a farming game. And while that sounds like, why would I want to be farming? I can just go outside, start a garden.
Yeah.
So I've been playing with my boyfriend this year actually, because we're doing obviously pandemic, long distance. So we have these Stardew Valley dates, and we built a farm together. So you raise a lot of animals, he does the crops, and then you go on these adventures to the mines. The progression of the game is so quick that you don't feel like every single day is monotonous. Like one day in the game is like 15 minutes of your time, and so it's pretty easy to go through a season. So I've been really loving Stardew Valley, that and Animal Crossing. All right, so two of the apps I want to mention are astrology apps, because I really got into that this year, and I think they're very beginner friendly. So an option outside of CoStar that I think is like a lot better than that is time passages. Yeah, so it's called time passages. So the issue that I have with CoStar is that it's not very specific, right? It's more of like your daily horoscopes, but time passages is actually ran by legit astrologers. So it's a lot more in-depth. Like if you want to learn more about like aspects, like going into more than just your sun sign, that's a great place to look if you're just starting out. And then another astrology app is The Pattern. And so this like really simplifies it down to the core patterns that you can see in other people. So it's not just like, oh, this is how you are because of the sun and the moon, but it kind of explains human patterns in a way. So that's what I mean by like simplifying astrology. So I think that's also like a really great app. And then you can also check your connections with other people that you have on the app, like your friends. You can see like your synastry and like how you guys work.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for you to do ours.
Okay. You need to download the app. Okay. So they had a new feature on the app where you can see your synastry with celebrities. So I did mine with like Cole Sprouse, Chalamet. So it's really fun. So those are the two astrology apps. I'll let you talk about your apps and then I'll pick my last one.
Mine's so boring. So I finally got into Reddit the beginning of this year. So I've been probably like going on it, like they check the news. So like maybe once a day, once every other day. I follow Animals Being Derps, Ask Reddit, Esports, those like gaming stuff, Everything Science, Interesting as Fuck, News, Next Fucking Level, Photoshop Battles, Pittsburgh, Science, and Today I Learned. So those are like, so it's just like, I have like fun memes that I see, but also I try to keep up with the news.
You'll probably too. Like shower thoughts, I think.
Oh, I would love that, yes.
So the last app, I've mentioned it already, it's the chess app. It's really fun because you can play with your friends. They now have a Beth Harmon computer that you can play against. I haven't tried that yet, but you should just download it so we can play.
I'll try. And then the last one I wrote down my Google Calendar app, of course.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, to be fair, like my work schedule is different every week, so I have to keep track of when I'm working. But like sometimes when we do, like I honestly used it a lot more when I was in college. But nowadays I kind of just like, oh, this is the day we're recording. Oh, this is the day like I'm supposed to FaceTime this person and stuff like that. I just like being
organized.
I just like being organized. Honestly, like having this app makes me feel like I'm important and productive.
So that is our recap for 2020. We'll probably end up doing a podcast episode that dives deeper into our year, but these are just some of the favorite things, some of the things that got us through this year. Oh, actually, so this year we definitely want to do more content for our YouTube and our Instagram, so a lot of exciting things are coming, so please make sure to check out our Instagram at Lucid in Translation. But I do have a gift for you, Lucy.
Wait, oh no, I didn't get a gift.
You gave me a book, okay, and then you let me try your pen. I have a gift.
Oh my god. Oh god, I'm so awkward with like opening up gifts.
It's fine, I won't look if that makes it better.
No, you can look, it's okay. Oh, I'm excited, okay. What is this? Oh my god!
So Lucy just got a new phone, and for the longest time she's been talking about doing Lucy's Lounge, which is a segment where she can talk about her favorite quotes, hash out all these other interests.
Yeah, so basically it's like a, what's it called?
It's called a vlogging kit, but it's basically a ring light with a attachment, like a tripod.
This is funny because so when we started this podcast, I kept saying like I wanted to make videos and I was like nah, I don't feel like it, too much commitment. But then like last week I was like, hey, when we record in person, can we talk about like bringing Lucy's Lounge onto Instagram?
Yes, making it.
And I was like looking into stuff like this, and I had one in my Amazon cart that I didn't buy yet.
Oh, thank God.
Thank you. No problem.
You're good. Yeah, so definitely subscribe to our channel and follow our Instagram because we are about to hit you in 2021 with a lot of cool stuff. So very exciting.
Yeah.
Yay! So we'll link all of our socials down below where you can find our podcast on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts and a lot of other places too. I actually don't know what the other ones are like that people listen to.
Apple, Google
Yeah.
Podcasts.
All that stuff. So you can find us in a lot of different places. And thank you so much for watching if you got this far in the video, and we hope you have an amazing holiday and a great start to the new year.
Bye.